to meet for.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we are back in business.
Okay, so in rhetoric, the more I do this persuasion stuff, especially when I do consulting work, I work with universities and corporations and government agencies, and I learned that the real power in persuasion is with the listener, not with the speaker necessarily. So, the more questions I ask, the more I learn from you. And that's the whole point, is what I get out of it, not what you get out of it. That's just, this is all about me. So, that's why I ask, and it's interesting, because I actually get asked what's my favorite color more than you think. And I still can't quite figure out why, but someday I will. Maybe, Kaylee, you can explain it to me.
It's just nice to figure out your personality, and just it's kind of cool just to see different people's personality and point of views just by the color.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you'd ask about, through my color. There are other ways to ask, right?
Yes, sir.
When did you first figure out you wanted to be a writer?
I'm still not sure I figured that out. Every time I write, I wonder if I want to be a writer. I did, as a kid, I realized I wasn't good at anything else. It was a process of elimination. I was I was overweight and bad at sports, and I liked music. I played the trumpet, but I wasn't very good at it.
I played the trumpet.
So do you? And I bet you're better than I was. So, I figured I loved reading. And, here's the thing about writing, and it's the great tragedy of writing, especially when you're younger. You tend to have really good, you tend to be a really good reader, right? You guys are good readers, aren't you? You better be. So, but the problem is, because you're really good readers, you know what's good. But the thing is, it takes years to be a really good writer, and I don't think I'm there yet. So here you are, a really good reader, and not as good a writer. So you can tell how terrible you are all the time. And that often discourages people. So one of the things, what I ended up doing actually was becoming an editor. So I was an editor of magazines for many years, more than 30 years, and I was a really good editor. I still am. So I figured I can write terrible first drafts and just be a really good editor on myself, and that's how I write. So I try really hard just to get my first drafts out, and then I start editing. The editing can take, to do this book, I probably went through 30 or 40 drafts of the book. That's how long it takes. So I always think of writing for somebody like me is rewriting. And I think that's true of most people. Most writers I know are really good rewriters, and not necessarily good first draft writers. So, did I discourage you all from being writers yet?
Yes.
I'm working on it also, so.
Do you have any tips for people who aren't good at writing?
Hey, who asked that question? What's your name?
Allie?
Hi, Allie. Can you lean your head over so I can see you? Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hi. You now. Any tips? I'm going to give you the obvious tip because it's the one that really works best of all. You know this tip, right? Can you guess it?
Stop while you can.
Editing it?
Stop while you can.
What is it?
Well, Allie, you were going to say.
What?
You were going to guess. What is
Oh, I think editing it, I don't know, going back and revising, like you just said.
Yeah. Yeah, I would give you a more obvious one in the meantime, though, and that is to keep a diary or journal every single day. And I would suggest, you can do it online as a blog. A lot of people do that now. I actually, maybe because I'm just old, I'm kind of old school about it, so I write on a notebook. That way I'm not worried about anybody else seeing it, and I can write anything I want. I do it first thing every morning. Do you keep a diary, Allie?
Yeah.
Do you really?
I journal sometimes.
Well, then you're on your way. I think that's you should write it every day. make it a habit. Do it the same time, ideally, so you actually do it. I started keeping my diary or journal or whatever you want to call it when I was in third grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did too?
Well, I do like devotional, like Bible studies, and I like write about bad things that happened. I don't know, just like lives that are funny, things that I want to remember when I'm older. And I have like 2-3 full journals.
Well, good. Then you're absolutely on your way. You know what I call my journal? I call it lunch, because when I was in third grade, my teacher said, I told her I wanted to be a writer, and she said, well, if you want to be a writer, you should keep a diary. And I said, okay, well, what should I write about? She said, just write about yourself and what happens. And I go home, and I realize I'm in third grade. I'm in suburban Philadelphia. There is nothing going on in my life. I don't know anything. I'm a third grader. So I sat there for like 2 days after my mother bought me a notebook and a pen. And so on the third day, I came home and I thought, someone had said to me, you are what you eat. And that wasn't a cliche. When you're in third grade, that's not a cliche. That's like the coolest thing you've ever heard. So I decided, okay, if I am what I eat, I'm gonna write down what I ate. So I wrote down what I ate for lunch, which was a bologna sandwich. And the only problem was I ate a bologna sandwich every day. So my journal for the first year was bologna sandwich. So gradually my writing got better. I ended up writing like 2 sentences, like what someone said to me while I was eating my bologna sandwich. But every day I wrote down what I ate. And I still do. And I still pretty much eat the same thing every day for lunch. It's not a bologna sandwich, it's varied over the years, but still, that's not the interesting part. But it sort of gets me just writing, and it's a habit that I really enjoy. Plus, the most interesting thing to go back to, you talk about wanting to read what your thoughts were when you're older. I'm 62. I go back and read what I wrote in third grade, and not only is it hilarious.
It is so funny. I did that.
I can see what I ate for like years and decades. And it's a wonder I'm still alive.
Yeah. I went back and I read some stories, like, I don't even know. I was just like in third grade, and they're just so, it's like my handwriting, you can literally watch it like get better. It's so, I used to have some bad handwriting. My spelling was terrible.
Well, good for you for getting it better, because mine just gets worse all the time. I'm a great typist, though. That saved me. So what else? Let's get another question. Let's get a rhetoric question.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Wyatt.
Wyatt, is it?
Yes.
Actually, I want to tell you something about Wyatt. So he's a senior, and he read this book 2 years ago, and he heard we were talking to you today, and he wanted to come in and stay, just sit in. And so he thought of a question he wanted to ask you. So.
Well, I'm honored, Wyatt. Thank you for coming in.
You're welcome. My first question is, do you consider yourself an expert in rhetoric? And my second question is, how often do you find yourself using your own techniques in daily life?
Yeah, those are great questions. So am I an expert in rhetoric? Yes, I'm an expert in rhetoric because I say so. If I can convince people I'm an expert in rhetoric, then by golly, I am. Because, if I can talk people into thinking I'm an expert, that kind of makes me good at persuasion, right? So the thing is, I work as a consultant. Most of my income comes from content and persuasion work. So also this year, Middlebury College, do you know about Middlebury College?
No.
It is, okay, it's because where you guys are. It's one of the elite private colleges in the East Coast. You know about